Hello, our dearest viewers. You're welcome to the Zeloft School of Marketing, where we simplify marketing for absolute beginners, marketing professionals looking to up their game, and entrepreneurs or business owners who want to maximize their profit and increase their revenue, and just learn how marketing can actually transform and grow their business. Right? So if you're coming across our channel for the very first time, this is a good time to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell so that you do not miss out on any of the amazing stuff we have in store for you. All right, so let's get right into today's class. And the topic of today's lesson is building brand consistency and why every tiny single detail matters. So in our last class, right, if you watched it, if you did not, after this video, you can actually go and then watch it. We discussed and we taught how to craft a compelling brand message, right? So today we are going into something more elaborate and crucial for the success of any brand, which is brand consistency, right? So if you, I don't know if you listen to motivational speeches, yeah, there's always a thing or two to learn from them. You know that consistency is non-negotiable if you want to succeed in anything. If you want to become world class in anything at all, you have to be consistent. You don't do it once in a while, you do it every time, all the time, day and night, right? So how does this apply to your brand? Now, brand consistency, this makes sure that your audience would recognize and connect with your brand no matter where they come across your brand, right? So that's the essence of brand consistency, so that your brand is recognizable, your brand is relatable across wherever they see it, they're able to resonate with it and connect with it. What is brand consistency to start with? A brand consistency means what you do, the sum total of what you do to ensure that all of your brand's communication, visuals, and messaging are cohesive and they are aligned across every touch point. Your brand cannot be scattered. Your brand cannot be all over the place. In 2025 and beyond, where marketing is majorly online, it's digital, and then there are a lot of professionals out there. The market is saturated. In fact, every day people are starting the kind of business you do. You can't afford to take this lightly. You can't afford to not be professional. You can't afford for your brand to not be consistent across all its messaging, its visuals, how it looks. So your brand has to look, it has to sound, it has to feel the same, like it has to feel put together, you get? Because at the end of the day, like what matters is how your audience will perceive your brand, right? So when your audience see that you have the same logo, you have the same colors, you have the same tone of voice, very important, you have the same message across your website, your social media, your emails, your adverts, it builds trust. People believe that you know what you're doing. There's a certain level of professionalism that you get from brand consistency, and then of course people would recognize your brand and they would want to associate with everybody who don't like better thing now in pidgin. Yeah, so everybody would want to be on the side of something they believe is good, it's professional, it's authentic, it's reliable, right? And in a world where people have started like following a brand or supporting a brand and ended up disappointing them, they want to feel like they can rely on your brand. So your brand is like a person. You have to start to see your brand as like a person that people interface with. So that person has to display professionalism and consistency for maximal results. So for example, if we're talking about like say Chicken Republic or even Domino's Pizza, right? Or a more global brand like McDonald's, wherever you go in the world and that these brands are, Burger King and the likes, there's something you expect. KFC, there's a way they taste like. You can go to 20 different KFC branches across the country. You would expect that they are crispy chicken. You'd expect it to look a certain way, taste a certain way. That's what brand consistency is. And you don't wait until your brand is big and then you have staffs all over before you start implementing these things. You implement these structures from the very beginning, right? So that you don't have to struggle with it later on. So now the next thing we want to explain is the importance of consistency for your brand. So why does consistency matter? Why is it all that? Why are we sitting down today to really address consistency. It helps build trust. And in today's world, trust is the most valuable currency your brand or your business can have. Especially since now people don't even need to really come to your office physically to patronize you. A lot of even restaurants or food businesses, people just order, right? Vendors, people order, even dresses, IG, people order. So this brand consistency would help you trust. Remember, people would follow you. Your audience will find you, of course, when you've created content for the awareness phase. I refer to the video we made on that, right? They will follow you, but then they are watching you. They want to see, they want to just see that this guy is all that, right? They are just observing. I do it too, we all do it. You too, you do it to other brands, right? Just that maybe you never paid attention to it. You hardly will patronize a brand the first day you come across the brand. So you follow them and then you just be trying to see. So that's why even when you're not making sales yet, you have to be consistent because people are watching. Maybe thousands of people are watching and you're very close to your big break, but then because you're not aware, right? You might just flop and maybe just lose consistency and then lose their trust. When they can recognize your brand, they can vouch for your brand, it becomes familiar to them. And then also it will strengthen your brand identity. So they'll be able to vouch for you. Say, this brand, they are known for this, they are good with this, you get. And then they can easily spot your brand. It can help you stand out. So your customers, your audience can spot your brand, even amidst like hundreds of other similar brands, right? And your brand will stand out. And of course, when you stand out, it's only necessary. The only thing that will happen next is that you will sell out, right? So, and then consistency also improves brand recall. That's how much people can remember your brand. And of course, studies have also shown that consistent branding can increase your revenue by up to 23%. So just imagine how much money you are leaving on the table because you're not taking your branding seriously or you're not consistent with your branding. So this is a good place to repent and decide to work on that going forward. All right, so you have to take note of your color scheme, the tone of voice, that's how your brand sounds. Are you very professional, semi-professional, informal? And then your tagline, you get the words you use every time you are referring to your brand or your customers, and all of the elements that make up branding, they work together to provide a cohesive brand experience. Now, I'm going to be explaining how you can ensure brand consistency. So how do you make sure that your brand stays consistent? The first thing you need to do, as a matter of fact, if you don't have it, SOS, is you need to create your brand guideline. So I'm sure you're wondering, what is your brand guideline? All right, it's simple. Your brand guideline is that document that should or that contains your logo, your brand colors, your fonts, that's the fonts for your brand, the tone of voice for your brand, and everything that guides your brand communication and your brand messaging and your visual identity elements, right? So everything you should have this document put together. It should serve as your brand's rule book, so that in case where you're not even available and somebody has to design something for you, or you have a new staff, it's part of what you should onboard them with. And as a marketing professional, if you're learning marketing, this is something you should create for every brand you work with if they don't already have it. If they have it, you can ask for it, so that to guide your communications. And if you don't already have it, you need to make it for them. The next thing you need to do is to align your visuals. So you need to ensure that your logo, your colors, your elements, overall designs, icons, they are all consistent across all platforms. This cannot be overemphasized because this would serve as your visual identity for your website, your social media, and your branding and packaging, right? So you have to ensure that they are seamlessly consistent across all these platforms. Then you need to ensure consistent messaging, right? So your brand's voice, how does your brand sound? If your brand was a person, what would be their tone of voice, their pitch? So you need to ensure that your brand's voice and messaging should remain the same across all platforms, right? So whether you are writing a social media post, or you're writing an email, or you're writing a tweet, or even an advert, right? You should be consistent with the way your brand sounds, your brand's voice, your brand's tone, right? So if your brand is a playful brand, you have to keep that consistent across all communication and messaging. Don't forget to make sure that your entire team is aware of this and they are on board these guidelines. They have them at their fingertips, right? So even if you are the marketer, these are things that would help you get results, So you have to pitch it at your next meeting and convince everybody to get with the program. And of course, you guys will be working towards one goal, because whether you are in marketing, you are in back end, front end, whatever, the goal of every company is not to just get things done, is to get revenue and profit. And as a marketer, you are in charge. You are the one. You are the one driving this ship, right? You are the one sailing this ship. You are the one at the front of this goal, right? So you have to make sure everybody gets with the program and does what they need to do to ensure that your goals are met. So now we'll look at some real world examples before we call today's class a day, of how, of course, they are able to have consistent brand messaging and how this actually equates to more success, more revenue, and more sales, right? So for Coca-Cola, right, we all know Coca-Cola, we all know Coke, and decide to call it Coca-Cola, but the brand name is Coca-Cola. So whether they are doing an ad or a billboard, or they're using their social media platforms, they maintain the same red color scheme. Hope you know that they are like tons or hundreds of different shades of red, right? But then they maintain the same red color scheme and a happiness-driven messaging. So their message evokes this happiness and joy and excitement, right? And that's why you have more of the younger audience resonating with what they do. And then for Apple, right? Steve Jobs, Apple, Tim Cook, from their product packaging to their web design, to everything about Apple screams sleek, innovative, and minimalistic. Apple is one company that spends so much money to make even their packaging, that box that your Apple phone comes in or your smartwatch. You might end up discarding it too. You might end up disposing it, right? But they invest in it, right? It's consistent with their branding. Anywhere you see it, in fact, people buy Apple because of that box. Like somebody might sit and just fall in love with the design of the box. That's how intentional they are. That's how intentional they are about their marketing. Now, this level of consistency is what helps these brands. Not like these brands are not also facing their own competition, because you might want to say, it's Apple, they have all the market, it's Coke. No, there's Pepsi, remember, here, and then there's Samsung, remember. So these guys have their fair share of competition, right? Maybe you might not even survive if you have the kind of competition that Apple has or that Coca-Cola has. But this level of consistency helps them to remain at the top of their audience's mind, right? So you don't have to, if there are 100 million people in Nigeria, you don't have to sell to all 100 million, right? But then you need to sell to the 20 million that are your guys, that are your target audience, that are your customers. You need to make sure that you max out that market share, right? So this is what they do. This is one of the strategies they use. So I'm bringing the secrets to you so that you can also apply them in your business. So finally, brand consistency is not just about looking the same. Yeah, you might be tempted to think that's what it's about, but that's not what it's about. It's about making sure that every part of your brand feels like it belongs to the same story, right? No part is missing, no part is just disconnected. No, everything belongs to the same story. And in our next class, our next lesson, we'll be teaching you how to build brand trust by being authentic or by exhibiting brand authenticity. All right, thanks for watching. If you stayed till this part of the video, thank you so much. You are amazing, and we believe that you got value for your time, right? And also, this is a good place to remind you, hit the like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell, so that you do not miss out on any of the amazing stuff we have in store for you. Also, feel free to use the comment section. Let us know any questions you might have, any gray areas you need clarification on. Give us feedback. What is it that you have realized that you did not know before now, and that you are glad you watched this video, that you have learned? And then also, if you have any topics, any struggles, let us know so that we can create classes and lessons that address those issues. We started this channel to make you a better marketer, so we look forward to your feedback so that we can achieve that goal. All right, and then finally, do well to send this video to friends, to family, and loved ones, and even strangers, because people might be, marketing is somehow complicated or complex when you don't know the secret. So there are people that might be struggling with their businesses, and this would come in as some sort of relief and help for them. So don't hold it, don't keep it to yourself. Do well to share it, and they'll be grateful that you did. Keep being awesome, keep staying amazing. See you same place, same venue in our next class. And hopefully you would have implemented the things you learned. So we expect to see a better version of you in our next class. Do take care of you.